Plugins of the week comes from Universal Audio. It's UAD going native, otherwise known as UAD Spark. UAD Spark is a new subscription program that has been created by UAD, including a select number, at least for right now, of plugins from their UAD collection. The catch is that you don't need a UA satellite processor to actually use them. They operate natively using your internal CPU. So the great part about this is that for those of you who are UAD users, you get a free license, a permanent license for all the plugins that you've already purchased. If you do not have a UAD system, then you can sign up for a subscription-based model that basically works at $19.99 per month, or $149.99 per year, which is an amazing deal, that yearly discount. Now, is it worth it? Well, I guess that depends how much you believe in Universal Audio plugins. I happen to think they make the best emulations of any of the companies that are out there. They have the broadest selection of plugins, and where they sometimes are, not all together there with the latest features, A/B comparisons, and things like that a lot of people like, mix control, wet-dry controls on everything. They actually do great work, and for that, it's really, to me, worth it. I would expect at this point, as an entry price, this is actually a really smart deal. If you think about one plugin purchase for $149 a month, or a year rather, you can get a year's worth of access to these plugins, and the collection will only continue to grow. And if you could stay locked into that price, you might end up with a better deal, because if there are 30, 40, 50, 60 plugins down the line, I have a feeling the price might go up over the course of that time. But I could be wrong. I don't have any inside information on that. So what do you get? You get a whole variety of stuff. You get the full LA2A collection. So that's not just the LA2 that you see here. You also get that, which is the original. You get the LA2A gray version, which you see here. You get the LA2A silver version, which you see here. You get the three 1176s, which is revision A, revision E, and a revision AE, which was an modified version of the 1176 that had an anniversary edition, is what the AE stands for, which gives you a couple of additional modified features which were not part of the original. So you get all of those, which all sound amazing. You get the API 2500 all there. And in addition to that, you get the API Vision Strip, which you see here. You get the 1073 EQ, which is amazing. You get the Studer A800. There's a few things that I'm going to point out that are a little bit different than what you get. You get also some the Galaxy Tape Echo. So this is the Roland Space Echo. The Lex 24, Lexicon 224 digital reverb emulation, and Pure Plate, which is basically an EMT plate. And so you get all of that basically for the subscription price. In addition, there is also a few synths. There is the Mini Moog. If any of you who already have their free DAW, if you already have an interface, then this is accessible primarily through that, but now it's available for you native as well. You get Ravel, their piano plugin, which is a Steinway, 7-foot Steinway piano. And there are two others that I don't have here. I'm just going to show them up on the screen here. One is an Opal morphing synth, which is only specific to UAD Spark. So this is only available through their subscription program. And the Waterfall B3, which is also available through the UAD platform as well. So you can get the Waterfall, which is just a Hammond organ, essentially. So what is different about this is there are a few things. Some of the things are they are mostly identical. I've kind of gone through them carefully. If you look at the two Studers, this is the UAD version, and this is the new version. The only thing that's missing is the gang controls. Not the end of the world, would be convenient to have. Looks a little bit different, and some of them, the graphics, they change them. They're a little bit lighter, but mostly all the same features. Couple of cool things though. On the previous version in the UAD platform, you get to load and do all of your presets through here, which is fine. You can go through it that way and go through menus. Not the prettiest thing, but it functionally works. With the native system, they actually created a whole new architecture for this with presets. You have tags, so you can go through the tags of either, of whatever artist. You got your own favorite list. So these are can be organized. You can see, just load up all the plugins directly here. They're organized by category, right? Let me just see here. There should be another breakdown of this. Maybe I saw it over here. Hold on. When I opened up the tags, yes, for some reason that doesn't exist on the Studer. They have it by type, right? So you can get it that way, by artist, right? So these are different producers and engineers that have created thing, or a list of all of the different categories. You could store favorites. You can save your own presets, all of that. And so this sort of almost looks professional. You could search them here. If you click on the favorites tab, whatever you have that you have stored for yourself is right there and instantly available. Kind of convenient. They also have a copy paste in-out button for engaging or disengaging the plugin. It's starting to lean towards something here. Little question mark, which allows you to access the documentation, which goes to the website. All of that instead of a separate PDF. So I think they're going to kind of move things there. So the question is, when are they going to put this stuff in the UAD for the UAD users? Because that would be really cool. One of the cool things about this, though, for those of you who have UAD systems, is that if you create a whole bunch of different settings, so I'll just kind of switch some things around here, right? And you can actually go through and copy the settings from your UAD version onto the native version, onto the Spark version, just by going into here, and all of the settings will load up, which is really cool, because if you are on a system that has a limited number of processor chips, and you say wanted to put Studers across everything, but you didn't have the horsepower to do that with your satellite system, this would give you the ability to run it native, but you can also copy the settings and move stuff off of its processing onto the native version. And if you already own it, you already have the full license for the other one. The only thing you need is an iLock. I know some people hate iLock. Get one. It's worth it. And you probably end up with one hating it anyway, because there are just too many plugin companies that work off of iLock. So you probably are going to end up stuck with one anyhow at some point. But pretty cool. The other thing that I was curious about was, what about the sound? Did he do anything? Because many of the native, the UAD specific plugins will have upsampling, right? So within the architecture of the way that the signal gets processed, it will get upsampled. They'll do all the processing with the upsampling, and then they'll also do anti-aliasing filters, which will drop it back down. But all of that processing would be UAD specific. So within the DAW, I believe it would have to stay all at the same sample rate. But I was also curious to know if they did apply the anti-aliasing, and it appears to be the case. So when I did this, I kind of put together just a quick example just to show that it worked. So what I have here is just very quickly, I just have some drums and bass here in a stem. And what I did was I just put up a quick compression EQ setting here. Just so you could hear it. And then what I did was I took all of this and just copied the settings, pasted it here into this version, so the settings are identical. The only thing different, so this is a parallel channel that has the exact same information. And actually, I don't even need this. I could just take this and flip the phase right here, and they should disappear. Nothing, right? And you see nothing here on the master channel. Right, so it phase cancels out perfect. So I went through a few different things to see, well, is that true with everything? Started to go through, I went through the Studer, did the same thing. It cancels out perfectly. And so everything that I've run through it, copying and pasting the settings, which is great that they added that feature, because they don't show numbers on anything unless it's obviously with a switch, a hard switch, and that allows you to kind of work pretty quickly in terms of transfer of settings. And it's also good to know that the sound is basically identical to what they have using the UAD system. So I'm impressed all the way around by it. I think it was a shocking move. I didn't expect it. It really came out of nowhere. Over the last couple of years, going through the whole COVID crisis and everything, the amount of plugins or number of plugins that were being released by UA had slowed down. I assumed a lot of that had to do with COVID and the inability of people to sort of work together on things, blah, 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 all that crap. But so this was sort of a shocking development, and I think a great move forward for the company that can reach a much wider audience, and all those people who would love to buy into the UA system. This is a better price point to go in than having to buy a satellite or an interface straight out and work with it that way. So great deal all the way around. Check it out. Things always change, right? So some of the information that I have here, I'm sure they will continue to add new plugins. I'm not sure how frequently that will occur, but it is a whole subscription-based thing. You set it up on the website, you give them your iLock ID, you pay it out. So if you don't have a UAD system, you would set it up already. You would set up your account directly with them. 14-day free trial is what they started out with. Then they charge you. You continue to use it, and then you continue to get new plugins as they release them. And it pretty much works right along that way. Sounds like a great deal to me. Just given the quality of the stuff that they have, to me, it's a no-brainer. But everybody's different. You may be invested in some other systems. That's fine too. But it's at least worth checking out. I think it's very cool. And even just the early palette of what they've given you in terms of plugins is a great way to go to get started. So, all right, plugin of the week coming from Universal Audio, UAD Spark. And when you load it up, just very quickly, it shows up as UADX. That's the difference, and that's how it'll get separated in your DAW. Sorry, just had to throw that in last second. Plugin of the week, Universal Audio, UAD Spark.